Okay, so this is an interesting um, situation. This is one half of a duplex. And so if you're going to draw a duplex, the best part is to draw one side of it and get it absolutely complete. And then you can have chief architect, you can save a copy, have it flip. I think it's under here. Reverse. Where is it? There is an option to flip the plan. I don't remember. I've seen it. Anyways, it's in one of these menus. You just have to, maybe here it is, reverse plan. Um, and partly when you do that, you have to edit, select, where is it here? Edit areas. You got to select all floors. So then it captures the basement and the upstairs and all that stuff. And then when you flip it, then it flips everything. But it needs to be in a separate file so that then you can copy, and you do the same thing, copy, select all floors, copy from the flipped file, and you come back to this original file, and then you paste it in, and then you use point-to-point move. And I want to say that's why that X is there. It's either that or this is this. I think this is the center of the drawing, maybe. It's pretty close. So I'm just going to take that out of there because I don't know why I got it. But anyways, then you would bring the two laundry rooms together, and this will be a shared party wall. And in the original plan, they had 1 inch separation, which is going to be a problem because you have to, in their plan, they're just saying you need 5/8 Type X sheetrock right here where you see my cursor for fire. But every time I've done a commercial building, you also put fire rated along this side. And a lot of times, like in apartments, it'll be an entire wall. So you have to put plywood to do the lateral shearing to make sure that the wall doesn't rack back and forth. But since this building is only touching on a very small amount here, 7, 8.5, they might be able to get away with not having that. Seems odd though. What I'm getting at is we normally had 2 inches between framing, not 1 inch. And that gave us sufficient room to get things in there. And the other thing, this will have a little roof. See this roof right here? There's part of it, and here's the other part. According to the commercial codes, you have to come back at least 24 inches. And that plywood that goes on the roof, 24 inches back from the end of the wall, has to be fire-rated, treated plywood so that it doesn't burn. Or if it does burn, it burns super inefficiently and slow. So, and they come back 2 feet because that way you could actually take a 4-foot sheet and run it right up between both. And it's allowed to be one continuous piece touching both parts of the building. Otherwise, everything has to be separate. Like you would put a truss right on the inside edge of this wall. Then you would do fire-rated sheetrock all the way up to the underside of the plywood. So they're completely physically separated. But anyways, what else was I thinking? Oh, so plan views are starting to become more useful. I'm starting to understand them. That's kind of a cool view too. So you turn on over here your reference layers. So you can see the downstairs underneath your upstairs. So you can kind of, what I like to do is turn it on and off and just see what catches my eye. What's lined up, what's not lined up. Like right now, this 2x4 wall, here's your 2x6 from downstairs. So that makes sense that it's not perfectly lined up because it's actually flush lined up over the inside. Like that. This helps you think about if you had to have a beam somewhere, how would it affect things? Or if you're looking for, let's say this is forced air heating and you need to get a duct from downstairs or from wherever your utility master is, your mech room, how would you get it up there? And so that's one of the problems is this plan, the people are wanting to update this from the WSEC 2015 code to the 2018 code. And this used to be on a crawl space. Let's go look at the basement. Here's a crawl space. Here's a knee wall to support the floor joists that are going this direction with an opening so you can get in the crawl space and go through. And a lot of times people will put the ductwork, like say the furnace and the hot water heater would be in the garage on the original plan right here in the corner. And then the ducts go down into the crawl space and then go to where they need to go and then poke up. Or sometimes they'll put them in the cavity of a wall in between two studs and run them upstairs to the second floor. Well, the new 2018 code does not allow any ductwork in any crawl space, regardless of how insulated it is, even if you make it climate controlled down in there. So it's kind of weird. So what that kind of does now is, and the other beauty, you cannot have your furnace, if it's forced air, out in non-heated space. It has to be in conditioned space. So your options are, if the original plan had the furnace here, now you have to build a wall it in, and it has to be part of this heated space. Excuse me. Late night last night. Or find a place inside the house to put the furnace. Well, that's going back to the 50s where you had the furnace in the hallway up off the ground with a louvered door. And this is not a very big garage. This is only 22 feet. So good luck getting a full-size truck in here. But that has to be addressed. And then the other thing is, if you have, it looks like the joists are going this way because here's a beam, right? You can't always, unless they use floor trusses where they have webbing and you can run through the webs. If it's I-joists or lumber, you're going to have to do a drop-down soffit. And so what that has done in the industry, pretty much, you either have sections of your house where it's the ceiling 7 feet tall, which is code. You can do that. It feels kind of cramped. Or you start building all your buildings with 9-foot studs, which end up with 9 foot 1 1/8 wall, top of wall plate height. And then when you fur down these areas for your ductwork, then you're down at an 8-foot ceiling, which is standard. That's okay. I just turned off the invisible wall. The invisible wall was used to define this room right here from this room. That's how you make that happen. You put a wall in there that's invisible. That would be under wall, room divider. What else? Little things like, see how this text blocks out the door swing? That's just a fill. So when you open up the text, you tell it to fill underneath the text with white. Like I could do fill at 20%. And then you're going to see how you still see part of the swing. I don't normally do that, but you could. Or you could have no fill, just uncheck it. Yeah, so I'm just waiting on what the client wants to do with how they want to figure out, or as we used to say down south, how they want to skin that cat. But that's kind of nasty. People like cats. How they want to handle this. Where are we locating the furnace? If we're locating it here, we're going to have to put a wall. The hot water tank, strangely enough, can stay out in the garage. But, and one of the pains in chief, let's just go to the model because that's always more cool to look at anyways. Getting this laundry room to be half a floor up. This has been a pain like you don't know. So pretty straightforward downstairs. Come in the front door. You got a closet under the stairs to hang your coat. Living room area. They call this a nook, but it's pretty small. And none of these colors are anything. This is just the default out of the box. If somebody wants to get into colors, we can do that. But I would rather just get the model shape and size in the beginning. Little half bath. So, yeah, to tell Chief that there's floor 1, and then upstairs on the top of these beams here is floor 2, but you want to have a floor that's halfway between floor 1 and floor 2 that's at the same height as the stair landing. That is not an easy task. Maybe it is if for people that are experienced, but I fought with this thing. Let me do this. I'm going to throw a section view. Oh, and you can't even see the stairs behind there because this wall is in the way. But anyway, so what I had to do was create a room, create a new floor height for that room that's outside of the regular floor. And so then you would come up these stairs, do your laundry, and then go up into the upper living area. So that was, let's just go up there and look at it. So that kind of turned out okay, I guess. Now, in reality, you're not going to have, see how that wall stops right there? That wall more than likely will come up to either, it'll probably be 42 inches above the steps and follow the angle of the steps until it reaches whatever this height has to be. If they're going with railing, they're probably cheaper and they're going to go with sheetrocked knee wall. So if that's 36 or 42, whatever this height is, it'll come out flat until it meets the angle, and then it'll go down. And it'll all be sheetrocked, and they'll cap it with like a 1x8 painted something. Another thing, you're always going to have smoke detectors in every bedroom, and I always put them right where the door swing opens so that if you were to walk in or open the door to do something immediately, the thing would detect airflow. Doesn't really matter as long as each sleeping area has a smoke detector, and this extra one is a carbon monoxide, because you want to have those near your sleeping area. You want to have one at least. Let's see. This is everybody's using this bathroom. And I think this is the master. Yeah, this is the master upstairs. They have their own bathroom. And a walk-in closet. So that's half of a duplex. This will have like a little witch's hat or whatever they call it, where it's a hip roof from all sides. Believe this is either a 4 or a 6 this way, up here and back down, I think. And then the building connects right here. And so there's that. Interesting. All right. Well, I hope that was... I don't even know. I didn't even have a purpose for showing this other than just rambling. So if there's any nuggets of knowledge, you're welcome. I'm here to help.